for coming to the session early in the morning. I'm Yuriko KOJIMA from Shobe University. For the last several years, I have been working on a research of Takemitsu's water music. I was fascinated not only by the beauty of the music itself, but also by Takemitsu's artistic innovation at the dawn of the electroacoustic music scene in Japan. As you all know, there are two different versions for water music, each of which gives listeners completely different listening experience. One of them is a version for no dancer, 3 flutists, and a tape, and the other is a tape-only version. Actually, the taped part is the same for both versions. For several years, I have been basically working on research of the ensemble version, which is probably one of the earliest examples of multimedia work which gives the listeners more complex perceptual experience. Meanwhile, from 2013 through 2014, there were several exhibitions for the legendary group of musicians and artists called Jikken Kobo, experimental workshop in Kamakura, Iwaki, Toyama, Kitakyushu, and Tokyo. During the period of the exhibitions, the electroacoustic music concerts were held to reproduce the historical concerts from 1956, namely Music Concrete, electronic music audition. For the reproduction concerts, a digitally remastered recording was made by Sumihisa Arima. Provided with this clear recording and using UCOM's audioscope, I was able to analyze the unclear pitches within the fast-moving sections. Also, I tried to closely look at overall transition of sounds, including a stereo placement of them and the rhythmic characteristics. This is the overall structure of the water music. You see the arrows above to indicate the ensemble version's duration, and the arrows below is for the tape-only version. The tape-only version starts after a long introductory solo by alto flute. It lasts about 1 minute and 10 seconds, and after that, the taped sound comes in, and that is the moment of the beginning of the tape. The sound of the tape is exactly the same in duration as the tape-only version. The analysis of the form with 4 sections are the results of the analysis of the ensemble version. So let's look inside of the sonogram analysis of the tape-only version. This is the waveform and the sonogram analysis of the remastered tape. Here I marked the points with, maybe you can see the short lines below the audio file, and it's colored with yellow, orange, and red. Yellow lines are for the places where the same sound is, one sound is balanced stereo. And orange lines are for the places where different sounds are lined up for left and right simultaneously. And red lines are for where different sounds are supposed to be played at the same time, but slightly displaced. Here we see 3 yellow lines in the beginning, orange lines somewhere in the middle. Can you find them? and many red lines starting at 1/3 of the piece and more toward the end. This tape sounds like no music, which usually played by several performers to perform by sensing each other with no eye contact or whatsoever. Notice that the left and the right tracks have mostly different sounds. Okay, above from in the middle, divided in the middle, the top is left, the lower is the right track, and they're treated individually and as if each track is a different performer to perform together as an ensemble. This is probably due to the fact that Takemitsu originally planned the tape sound to be projected with 6 speakers unusually placed in a concert hall. Takemitsu divided the space into 3 sound areas. Sound A with speakers 1, 2, 3 on right rear corner, and area B with speakers 4, 5, 6 on left front corner looking toward the stage, and area C with no speaker in the middle. And so far I have not found any documents to show how the sound projection was done at the premiere performance. It only seems to be very difficult to have a good projected taped sound exactly the way Takemitsu wanted to have back then. At least we can see that Takemitsu tried to treat each track of the tape to be just like the performers, to surround the stage along with real performers on stage. Okay, let's look at the smaller sections. This is the beginning 40 seconds of the piece. I'll play it back. This is the beginning. There are the sounds distributed for both left and right tracks, with which are integrated into one distinctive melody. But looking more closely inside of each track, very interesting aspect appears. Please look at the top line on the left track. Here we can see symmetrical placement of the sounds in time. The middle point between the 2 B5s, around 20 seconds or so, is the turning point which goes backwards. Okay, you see on the top, like there are very distinctive, the same figure in time. And as we can see in the sonogram, the placement of the left track before the last C sharp 4. The last C sharp 4 is placed on the right corner. Is almost precisely symmetrical in both pitches and the rhythms. For the right track, on the other hand, below the sample, the combination of the pitches are nearly the same, but it includes different pitches in the second half. The timing of the sounds are also breaking up to form a different rhythm. But because of the displacement of the timing on one side of the tracks, the thematic single line of the phrase is now heard in complexity. In the tape, there are several places that we can see the same kind of symmetrical placement of the sounds, which are bits of displacement with a bit of displacement in time. It is amazing to see that Takemitsu seems to have carefully planned to make the tape working to record, to cut and splice, and to mix to create a new phrase economically. This is another sonogram analysis of the short phrase at 217 to 224 seconds or so. Let's listen. Okay, you see the randomly placed short sounds marked with the rectangular figure on the top of the sonogram. There are two different pitch bands. Maybe you see on top like a little bit longer samples on top, and below that very short files. And in the same left line, you see the different areas. And there are two different pitch bands. One is around 3,000 to 4,000 hertz. That is the top line. And the other is around 2,000 hertz. First one is played on the left track, which starts at 217 seconds to last about 7 seconds. And it is transferred to the right track below the line, this area, and which starts around 200 to 27 seconds to last about just 4 seconds. As we can see, the first one is loose in time, and the second one is closer and more dense. And the first one looks like the reflection of the second one, which is, if it is true, the reflection appears before the real sound of the phrase. You see that? Also, this file have interesting points, maybe you can see. Within one file, there seem to be 2 or 3 repeated short groups of sound materials, about 2 seconds in duration. You see the repeated figures on like 3 times on top and twice on the bottom. Yes. And every time slightly transposed, and on top files, each time when it appears, the pitches are transposed a little bit up, down. And then the below section, you see it is transposed a little bit up. In pitches. Okay, this is the transcription of the frequencies between the samples in the last page. And in hertz for the top phrase and the bottom phrase from the first group on the last page. We see the same pitches such as A7s and B7s listed in line, but each time one pitch appears, they are different in hertz, very small amounts. On the right hand of the page, I have indicated the basic pitches from C7 to B7. This is the basic pitch in A440. And also I have indicated high and low next to each pitch, if it is higher or lower than the basic frequencies. And every time you see the same pitches, When, for example, in the top pitches, B7 appears 3 times on the left column. But every time is different. First one is 4021 Hertz. Second one is 4058 Hertz. The third one is 3853 Hertz, respectively. No one pitch is exactly the same. Takemitsu used the same sound samples and changed pitches and qualities to fit his needs. Okay, this is the observation of the rhythms. Each track has distinctive phrases and rhythms, but basically not so much elaborated, but in repeated figure or simplified with non-retrogradable rhythms, which go backwards in the middle. They are sometimes misplaced to be decomposed. Some phrases are independent to stand alone, or some others are to be played together as they are, to create more complex rhythms. Finally, the tape-only version seemed to give us a unique listening experience of the structure, different from the one to be heard as the instrumental version. The tape-only version itself is complete, and it can be well appreciated as a real tape piece. Takemitsu seemed to have wanted to make 2 different tracks to be played at some places perfectly synchronized, and at other places to integrate as if the 2 were in ensemble. The sound of water drops sounds like the percussion instruments of No, not only because of the quality of the sound, but also because of the way of how they are placed on tape. Although I did not touch about the overall form of 9 minutes and 50 seconds of the tape sound, but it seems that when we start listening the tape without instrumental introduction, our observation of the form of the piece changes. For the ensemble version, after the introduction, I thought the rest of the piece could be divided into 3 sections. The first one in 4 minutes and 50 seconds, the last one in 2 minutes, and the third one is in 3 minutes. Now for the tape-only version, I hear the same duration of 9 minutes and 50 seconds differently. It could be divided into 4 sections instead of 3 sections. This could be another interesting observation of humans' perception of musical arts. I would like to continue to analyze the tape-only version and ensemble version, both of them, to compare how one is different from the other and if there is any difference. I would like to find why there is a difference even though the tape part is the same. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
We have time for questions.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. KOJIMA. Does anyone have questions or comments?
I have a few questions.
Yes. Yes, please.
If you want.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I will speak loud.
Okay.
I have several questions actually because I find this piece fascinating. Now, in other contexts, Takemitsu spoke about the use of. Okay, thank you. In other contexts, Takemitsu spoke about mixing Western instruments and Japanese traditional instruments, like in November Steps or other pieces. And what he said was that, and it's very clear in November Steps, that each type type of instrument should be respected, and the fusion is just in the music, not in the way the instruments are played. So in other words, he did not want to transport, to carry over the modes of playing of Western instrument onto traditional instrument and vice versa. Now, when he uses sound which you said sound like no percussion, how do you feel about this sort of introducing sort of Japanese sounds into Western context?
Actually, he didn't plan to make it sounds like no performance at all. Actually, he tried to avoid how it sounds like no theater, and so he told somebody about that. So if it sounds like no performance, then it's really naturally became that way. I don't know how and why he did, or it became that way. So it's probably our maybe DNA.
Exactly.
Yes, like maybe toward the how we perceive a sound in our head is different from one to the other, Western or Eastern or whatsoever, maybe Japanese or because it's our life is surrounded by the very distinctive way of life, especially like you see in Japan, we have a very unique sound culture, so we cannot get away from that. So maybe Takemitsu didn't realize that he has his own listening way or particular way of choice.
Did Takemitsu make? Okay. Did Takemitsu make any comments on the tape part of that piece? Did he write about it?
I don't know of any.
Okay.
I have not found any of them. Actually, as you know, that this music is not published. Actually, the ensemble version is not yet published. So we can not see how it was done. So we can just sense from the music file. Do you know any?
That was my next question. If you don't mind, I have a few other questions. My next question was about the reception of the piece. It's 1960, and we are now in 2016. What is the life of this piece and over the years, and what is it today? That is it played? Is it used? Is it what's the situation of the piece actually?
Okay, from 1960 compared to today's life in Tokyo, for instance, it's totally different. Especially the sound-wise, we have developed many sophisticated digital devices to easily compose or maybe make changes. That is a really big change for making this kind of music, like you have done probably, and I have done in the past, like making like a cut and splicing on a tape, magnetic tape. It's really time-consuming, very careful, very sensitive job to do. So the people's perception of music has been very, very different from one to the other. And also making habits is very different from one to the other, I think. So, so of course, the perception is different, I think.
I have just you don't mind, another question. It's regarding the pitches that you showed. Can you show the slide again with the pitches? Can you?
Which one?
With the frequencies and pitches, where you indicate low and high, not the list of pitches. Yeah, this one. Now, if I may, I would have liked, but only if it's meaningful. You see, that's the thing. To rather than having high and low, having a more precise indication, for instance, in cents. Okay, so there would be, for instance, C7 plus,
Yes.
X cents.
Yes.
So that gives you an idea of the displacement of the pitch. Or if it's too complicated, you can use an approximation like eighth of tone, like we did at IRCAM for the Jonathan Harvey piece, Mortus Plango. It was very important to show the displacement of pitches from the analysis of the bell sound, okay? Because they were not totally multiples of the lower frequency of the harmonic one. So then we used eighth of tone, but that was 1980. That was in the 1980s. So today I would use more refined way, maybe by cents,
A cent. Oh, okay.
maybe cents, so that you can really measure and imagine
Yes.
how much that the low is or the high is. And that's one point. Now the other technical question I had was when you mentioned, it was very clear, when you showed the picture with the same pattern, slightly transposed up or down. Do you know which tool he used to transpose? Was it just a speed change?
I have no idea.
He did this at NHK Studio?
Yes.
Not pitch change, but maybe the tape speed.
Yeah,
So
tape speed, yeah.
Very small changes.
Very, very small. Okay. He did not have like a Springer machine, like,
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you very much.
What do you think? Okay, so I was really, I was very confused when I was making this list. Actually, I didn't know how to put the differences.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that maybe I should have transfer the results of the analysis to maybe open open music.
Open music?
Yes, to show the small
Yeah.
changes in cents.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
MIDI sense, yes.
MIDI
yes.
sense, yes.
Yeah, MIDI sense.
I think this audio sculpt also has a
Yeah.
kind of a MIDI
Right.
transposition.
Visualizer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should have. Yeah, I should try.
Yeah, that would be more precise for
Yes.
for us to sort of imagine how much displacement.
Yes. So I just put both frequencies and high, low
Yeah.
at the same time. That was my solution for.
And also, what you may want to do, if you look at the second column, you have C#7, but it's not the same frequency. So what I would do is place the at A440, place the exact frequency as a reference.
Ah, yes. It's on here. It's
It's on the left. Yes. Now I get it. Okay. So it's 2,217.
yes.
Yeah,
That's the
substantial.
basic for A440.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's substantial. Okay, I see.
So how can calculate the pitch of the, not the precise pitch, but the central pitch of the noises?
Yes.
Automatically there's some.
No, I have like you see the sonogram analysis. Yes, there's one place that very strong.
Condensed pitch.
Yes, yes.
So how many bands did you use for the analysis? Do you remember? Like, a lot?
No.
No?
And also, I didn't include the B6 or A6, it's the seventh octaves, just that. Only I have indicated only seventh octaves.
Seventh.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's avoiding the sixth. There.
Any other question?
Yeah, I think.
So I have as a Japanese, I have a very short comment. So thank you for an interesting presentation. And you take the pieces, water music. The two pieces have the same title, water music, and one is take music, and one is another is ensemble and theatrical version. That is very important in Japanese history of contemporary music. And in 1960s, theater pieces is very in trend. So sometimes that is concerning about the form of live electronic, not live electronics, but live electronic. So sometimes Takemitsu and Shibata and also Ichiyanagi made theatrical pieces, and Takemitsu thinking about how to make the sound to make theatrical form. So that is very important. So I want to know why Takemitsu uses the same title to water music. Maybe we have no comments by Takemitsu himself, so it's very difficult. But it's a very important thing, I think. So water music. So water music. So is not only the sound, but also some to make water sounding some pieces. So make water sound like this or water. So that is a kind of visual element is very important in the pieces. So your presentation is very interesting because for me it's first time to see Takemitsu's the sounds in pitch hertz. So that is very interesting. But so I think so. That is a comment. And another comment, the restoration of the piece. So you mentioned Sumihisa Arisa. He is very nice, and he is our friend in JSSA or JSEM, and he sometimes makes some new version of the pieces and something equalizing or something. And so he makes now. He's now making a new phase of Japanese electroacoustic music. So sometimes he made monophonic tape music to stereophonic music. So he's now changing the piece from mono to stereo. So maybe we Japanese should research what he did, what Mr. Arima did now, as mentioned.
Maybe we should maybe we should question Mr. Arima about how he did for the changes, if there is. Yes.
It was mono first?
I don't think so. It's on the stereo.
Okay,
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
Marimas
Yes.
for example, the piece of USR, monophonic
Yes.
pieces to sing.
Mm.
So that is Arima's creation.
I have another question. Yeah, I have another question if you don't mind. From what Mrs. Mizuno just said, we spoke about the Japanese sound, and you spoke about the Japanese sounds in the environment. Now, it seems to me that those percussion that you refer to as no percussion, they sound to me a little bit like suikinkutsu, like sort of very Japanese garden sound. What, do you think it's possible?
I don't know. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I don't know. But if we change the spectrum of the sound itself, it becomes the sound like from suikinkutsu. I think maybe easily. I don't know. But it sounds like some places sounds like suikinkutsu.
We don't know where the sounds come from.
Not really. No. But I've read that he made a recording from everywhere, like like bathroom of the studio or something like that. I don't know. So it's not really beautifully prepared places. I think.
So it's like Mission, you know, in
Yes.
1952.
Mm-hmm.
Just basic sounds of water.
Yes, yes.
You don't want to know where it is.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Any other comment? Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Kojima. Thank you very much.